The other day, I was studying in my room when my sister walked up to me and asked me a great question. She said, "How do you describe good character?" Now, to answer this question, I first thought to myself, who in my life were some great role models who had good character? Now, this could be anyone. Maybe it's a friend, or a colleague, or even a famous person that you don't know very well. But what about this role model makes their character so great compared to everyone else? For me, these role models in my life are my parents. And no, I'm not being forced to say this. I'm being genuine. Every action my parents do for the better of me and my sister makes me so much more grateful for them. Every sacrifice my parents had to make in the past for the better of my health and future makes me look up to them so much more. A great example of a sacrifice my parents had to make was us moving to America. This meant having to leave behind all our families and loved ones, just with the hope and trust that this would set forth a great and successful future for me and my sister. Now, let's rewind a little bit. How does all this relate back to a question my younger sister asked me on some random Sunday afternoon? Hi, my name is Shruthi Kumaravel, and I'm here today to talk about the 5 pillars of good character. To start off, what is character? According to the dictionary definition, character is determined by the mental and moral values of an individual. In other words, it's how we perceive a person based on their actions and/or intentions. Imagine this. Imagine a tall, marvelous tower reaching towards the sky. This is the tower of good character. This tower is built upon 5 main pillars, consisting of empathy, respect, responsibility, integrity, and perseverance. Follow with me along this journey to understand each of these individual pillars and see how we can add them to our everyday lives. Starting off with the pillar of empathy. I'm sure we've all come along the phrase, do something for others in need, or put yourself in other people's shoes. These quotes all correlate back to the same term, empathy. A great example of what empathy is a story from when I was in 2nd grade. My teacher used to hand out these things called tokens. These tokens were given to students who helped other students when they were struggling. Whenever we filled out a card with 10 tokens, we would get a prize from a magical prize box. And as a 7-year-old, I always had my eye on that pink yo-yo. So what did I do? Whenever the teacher was around, I used to always go around and help out students, even when they were close to struggling. And at the end of the day, I came home with the biggest grin on my face, carrying that pink yo-yo home. This is a great example of what empathy is, except in the end of the day, you don't get a pink yo-yo. In fact, you share the kindness with everyone around you, and you get to be that change for someone else. This is the main reason our ancestors made up stories about gods and supernatural creatures that would help us when times were tough. Growing up, my grandma used to always tell me stories about Lord Ganesha, the elephant god. So whenever I got lost in those Costco aisles looking for samples, Lord Ganesha would be there to guide me back to my parents. How can we be more empathetic towards other people in our lives? Whether this be donating a dollar bill to a homeless person, or helping your friend when they're struggling on their homework assignment. We can all value from this trait by adding more empathy for our lives and others around us. Moving on to the 2nd pillar, the pillar of respect. Respect goes hand in hand with equality. Give someone a certain amount of respect, and they feel a certain way of belonging and thankfulness that they are where they are in the part of society. Now, deprive a person of their respect, and they want to fight back. They want to fight back and raise their voice against these injustices. Imagine a workforce with a boss and 4 colleagues. These 4 colleagues are all operating the same job, but for some reason, either because of its ethnicity, culture, or appearance, this boss does not like this one colleague. So he lowers his pay raise, and he doesn't get the same amount of deserved respect. So it causes him to fight back against these injustices and cause disturbance in the workplace. A great man once said, "In order to get respect, you must be willing to give it. Respect is deserved, not demanded. We can all value from this great quote, whether we're children in elementary school or we're an adult with a full-grown job. We can all value from showing respect to everyone around us. Let's take a moment to give attention to those who brought us to this place we are right now. For me, these are my teachers. Every day, my teachers spend their time to make sure that I get the proper education it needs for me to thrive. So we can show respect to them. The third pillar of good character is the pillar of responsibility. Let's look at some great leaders who showed this great trait. Steve Jobs, Mahatma Gandhi, and Barack Obama are all great examples of this, because they not only put the roles of their citizens and students in front of them, but they also improved others by looking at their own struggles. Responsibility helps us evolve as a nation. It helps us make sure that they get to where they are, and we do too. The fourth most important trait on our good character tower is integrity. Who here has lied as a child or an adult? I know I have. According to studies, children and infants are less likely to lie than teenagers and adults in their early stages. So why is this? Lying is essential for growth. Whether you believe it or not, lying helps you grow. But for which reasons? You can lie when your friend gives you a birthday present and it's absolutely horrendous, but you could say it was a great birthday present. But in this case, if you're lying about math homework that you didn't do, this is a bad thing. Trust builds good relationships. My parents always said, it's easy to lose trust, but it's super hard to gain it back. A great example of this is a candy jar from when I was younger. My parents used to have this candy jar at the top of the cabinets that were saved for when we went on special trips and special occasions. As a child, I was a huge sweet tooth, so I used to come home and steal a candy from this jar every single day. In less than a month, these candies were gone, and my mom asked me where they went. I lied about it. Little did I know that the consequence being faced after I lied was far greater than the consequence I would face if I had just told the truth. Have you ever heard the story of the boy who called wolf? This is the story of a boy who got tired of his job of sheep herding, so he called the villagers and said that there was a wolf. When the villagers all rushed in panic, he laughed at them. This happened a couple of more times until there was an actual wolf one day, and none of the villagers came. This is a great example of why we need to build trusty relationships, and we should not take them for granted. Our last most important trait is the trait of perseverance. It's not only important that we keep on thriving for who we are and who we want to be, but it's important that we do not let go of these factors and keep on moving. I am a badminton player, and I face new challenges every single day. My coach always tells me, run, but don't stop. Stop, but don't fall. Fall, but don't give up. I kept this quote in mind when I faced new challenges and new exercises that I could not get. I persevered through it all, and I never gave up. This is a great example of why we should all thrive to face our goals with a head-on stance and a positive attitude. Persevere through it all, no matter what challenge life gives you. Life is like a mountain. When you look at it from a far angle, there's so many challenges that you need to come across to reach the final stage. But when you look at it from each stone and stepping stone that you need to pass through to face, you can easily move on step at a time. Anyone remember this? This is our tower of good character. But now, we all have a better understanding on how each of these pillars can be kept strong and thriving for the rest of our lives. We know how to be more empathetic towards other people and show kind actions. We know how to be more respectful and gain that respect too. We know how to be more responsible and evolve. We know how to build trusty relationships and show the people that we love trust. And also, we know how to persevere through it all. No matter what challenges life throws at us, we know how to keep on going. I'm glad that I could show you how to build our great character tower. Let us all come together to build a good character city. Thank you.